Most people think cutting off a toxic person is the answer. They block them, they delete them, they make a big dramatic exit. And then something strange happens. The toxic person comes back. Or they spread lies. Or they play the victim and turn everyone against you. Because when you cut someone off, you give them a story. You become the bad guy who walked away. You hand them a reason to chase you, to talk about you, to make your life harder. There's a smarter way, a quieter way, a way that toxic people never see coming. You don't cut them off. You make them leave on their own. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this hundreds of years ago. He watched powerful people deal with their enemies, and he noticed something. The smartest ones never made loud exits. They never started fights. They never announced who they were removing from their life. Instead, they slowly changed the game until the toxic person simply didn't want to stay anymore. No drama. No fight. No closure speech. The toxic person just drifted away, confused, thinking it was their own idea. Today I'm going to show you 9 psychological tricks that make toxic people remove themselves from your life. You won't have to block anyone. You won't have to argue. You won't have to explain a thing. These tricks work because toxic people need certain things from you to stay. They need your reactions. They need your energy. They need your attention. The moment you quietly stop giving these things, they lose interest. They get bored. They go looking for an easier target. And the best part, they'll never know you did it on purpose. This isn't about being cruel. This isn't about revenge. This is about protecting your peace without starting a war, because the loudest exit creates the biggest mess, and the quietest exit leaves no trace at all. In the end, you'll understand why toxic people feed on your reactions, why your silence makes them uncomfortable, and why the smartest move is to let them leave thinking they chose to. Now, before we go further, drop this clear statement in the comment section. I protect my peace quietly. Say it, mean it. Let's start. Trick 1. Stop giving them the reaction they came for. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Toxic people don't actually want to fight you. They want a reaction from you. Your anger, your tears, your frustration, your need to defend yourself. That reaction is the food they live on. Every time they say something rude, they're not really attacking, they're fishing. They drop a hurtful comment and wait to see if you bite. And most people bite every single time. They get defensive, they explain, they argue, they get loud. And the toxic person sits back, satisfied, because they got exactly what they wanted. They proved they can still control your emotions. Now here's what happens when you stop reacting. You hear the rude comment. You feel the urge to fire back. But you don't. You stay calm. You give a short answer or no answer at all. You act like the comment barely touched you. And the toxic person feels something they hate. Nothing. No reward. No control. No power. They poke you again, harder this time. Still nothing. They escalate. They try a new angle. And still, you give them nothing. Stop and think about what's happening here. The toxic person is now working harder and harder to get a reaction that isn't coming. And the more they try, the more foolish they look. The more they push, the more they expose how badly they need your response. Machiavelli understood that the person who cannot be provoked cannot be controlled. When your reactions disappear, their power disappears with them. So, here's the rule. The next time a toxic person tries to bait you, picture a fishing hook in front of you. They're waiting for you to bite. Don't. Stay calm. Stay flat. Give them the emotional equivalent of a shrug. Not anger, not sadness, just nothing. And here's why this makes them leave. Toxic people stay where the food is. When you stop feeding them reactions, the food runs out. They get bored. They feel like something changed but can't explain what. And slowly, they start drifting toward people who still react, still argue, still give them the energy they crave. You didn't push them away. You just stopped feeding them. That's the first trick. Cut the reaction, and you cut their reason to stay. But the second trick goes deeper, because some toxic people don't feed on your anger. They feed on something you give them without even noticing. Trick 2. Take away their access to your emotions. Some toxic people are smarter than the loud ones. They don't push you into obvious fights. Instead, they study your feelings. They learn what makes you happy. They learn what makes you sad. They learn what makes you insecure. And then they use all of it like buttons on a remote control. They know exactly what to say to lift you up when they need something. They know exactly what to say to bring you down when you start pulling away. They control you by controlling your emotions. And the scary part is, you usually don't even notice it happening. So the second trick is simple but powerful. You take away their access to your emotions. This doesn't mean becoming cold or empty. It means you stop showing them your emotional buttons. You stop telling them what excites you. You stop telling them what hurts you. You stop revealing what you're worried about, what you're hoping for, what you're afraid of. Because every piece of emotional information you give a toxic person becomes a tool they use against you later. Picture it like this. Right now, the toxic person has a map of your feelings. They know where every button is. The second trick is about slowly erasing that map. You become harder to read. Your face stays calmer. Your reactions become smaller. When good things happen, you don't overshare them. When bad things happen, you don't run to them for comfort. Stop. Notice what just changed. The toxic person reaches for one of your emotional buttons, and the button isn't there anymore. They try another. Gone too. Slowly, their remote control stops working. Machiavelli believed that the person who hides their feelings keeps their power, while the person who shows everything hands that power away. When a toxic person can't read your emotions, they can't steer them. And when they can't steer you, you become useless to them. Here's why this makes them leave. Toxic people stay close to people they can control. The moment they realize they can't move you anymore, you stop being valuable to them. You're not fun anymore. You're not easy anymore. You're not a source of control anymore. So they go find someone whose emotional buttons still work. You didn't reject them. You just became unreadable. That's the second trick. Hide the buttons, and the remote stops working. But the third trick attacks something every toxic person depends on, and without it, they can't survive in your life at all. Trick 3. Become boring to them. This one sounds strange, but it's one of the most powerful tricks of all. Toxic people need drama. Drama is their oxygen. They create it, they feed on it, they live inside it. They love long, emotional conversations. They love conflict. They love the high of a big fight followed by a dramatic makeup. They love when life around them feels like a soap opera. So what happens when you remove all the drama? You become boring to them. And boring is the one thing a toxic person cannot stand. Here's how you do it. You keep your answers short and calm. You don't engage in the gossip they bring you. You don't react to the bait they throw. You don't join their emotional roller coaster. When they come to you with drama, you respond with something flat and simple. Oh, that's too bad. Hope it works out. I'm sure you'll figure it out. No follow-up questions. No deep emotional involvement. No fuel added to their fire. Picture a toxic person bringing a big dramatic story to two different people. The first person gasps, asks 100 questions, gets emotionally involved, and feeds the drama for an hour. The second person just nods and says, "Yeah, that's rough," then changes the subject. Which person do you think the toxic person keeps coming back to? The first one. every time. So, you become the second person. Stop, look at what's happening. The toxic person is throwing drama at you, and it keeps landing on flat ground. There's no echo, no spark, no fire. Machiavelli understood that you don't always defeat people by fighting them. Sometimes you defeat them by giving them nothing interesting to fight with. A toxic person in a calm, boring environment feels trapped. They feel restless. They feel like something is missing, and here's why this makes them leave. Drama is the reason they came to you. When the drama dries up, so does their interest. They start feeling like hanging around you is dull, pointless, not worth their time, and they go searching for someone who will give them the chaos they crave. You didn't kick them out of the show, you just cancelled the show. That's the third trick. Kill the drama, and you kill their reason to stay. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My calm is my shield. But the fourth trick works in the opposite way. Instead of taking something away, you give them something. And what you give them slowly pushes them out the door. Trick 4. Give them less and less of your time. Toxic people need your time. They need hours of your attention. They need you available whenever they call. They need you to drop everything and listen to their problems. Your time is one of the biggest things they take from you, and most people give it freely without thinking. So the fourth trick is about slowly shrinking the time you give them, not all at once, slowly, quietly. In a way they can't quite put their finger on. You start being busy more often. You take longer to reply to messages. You shorten the phone calls. You're suddenly not available for the long emotional dumps anymore. You don't announce any of this. You don't say, I'm pulling away from you. You just become a little less reachable week after week. Picture someone who used to get 3 hours of your attention every day. Now they get 30 minutes, then they get 10, then they get a quick, sorry, can't talk right now, busy. You're still polite, you're still kind. You're just not as available as you used to be. Stop and watch what happens in their mind. They feel the shift. They sense you slipping away. But they can't accuse you of anything because you never did anything wrong. You were never rude. You never fought. You just got busy. Machiavelli knew that you can weaken someone's hold on you not with a sudden break, but with a slow, quiet retreat. A retreat so gentle that the other person can't even point to the moment it started. Here's why this makes them leave. Toxic people need a steady supply of your time to keep their grip on you. When the supply shrinks, their grip loosens. They feel like the connection is fading, and they're right. Most of them won't fight to keep a connection that requires effort. They'll just drift toward easier people who give their time freely. You didn't shut the door on them, you just slowly turned down the supply until they wandered off. That's the fourth trick. Shrink the time, and you shrink their hold. But the fifth trick is about something toxic people fear more than anything. And when you take it from them, they feel completely lost. Trick 5. Stop being predictable. Toxic people love predictable targets. They need to know how you'll react. They need to know what you'll do. They study your patterns so they can plan their moves. If they know you always apologize first, they'll wait for it. If they know you always cave under pressure, they'll apply pressure. If they know you always come back after a fight, they'll start the fight without fear. Your predictability is a gift to them. It's a map of how to handle you. So the fifth trick is to stop being predictable. You become harder to figure out. Sometimes you reply fast, sometimes slow. Sometimes you're warm, sometimes you're just neutral. You stop following the patterns they've memorized. You stop doing the things they expect. Now be careful here. This isn't about playing games or being fake. It's about removing the patterns that toxic people use to control you. When you always react the same way, you're easy to steer. When your responses change, you become impossible to predict. Picture a toxic person who used to know exactly how to push you. They had a playbook. Press this button, get this result. Now, they press the button and get something different every time. The playbook stops working, their plans fall apart. Stop. Look at their confusion. They're used to controlling you through your patterns, and the patterns are gone. They don't know how to approach you anymore. They don't know what they'll get. And that uncertainty makes them deeply uncomfortable. Machiavelli understood that an unpredictable person is hard to attack because the enemy never knows what they're dealing with. When a toxic person can't predict you, they can't plan around you. And without a plan, they feel powerless. Here's why this makes them leave. Toxic people want easy control. A predictable person is easy. An unpredictable person is exhausting. When they realize they can't figure you out anymore, the effort stops being worth it. They'd rather find someone whose patterns are simple and easy to use. You didn't confuse them on purpose to be cruel. You just stopped handing them the map. That's the fifth trick. Break the pattern and you break their control. But the sixth trick is one almost nobody talks about, because it uses one of your kindest qualities as the very tool that pushes toxic people away. Trick 6. Stop rescuing them from their problems. Toxic people often have a constant stream of problems. Money problems, relationship problems, drama with other people, emergencies that always seem to need you. And if you're a kind person, you jump in to help every time. You give advice, you give support, sometimes you give money. You become their personal rescue team, always on call. But here's what's really happening. Many toxic people don't actually want their problems solved. They want the attention that comes with having problems. They want you involved in their chaos. They want to keep you busy fixing a life they have no real interest in fixing. So the sixth trick is to stop being their rescuer. When they bring you a problem, you stop jumping in. You stop offering solutions. You stop carrying their weight. Instead, you hand the problem right back to them. They tell you about a crisis. You say, "Wow, what are you going to do about that?" They wait for you to fix it. You don't. You just calmly put it back in their hands. Picture someone who always comes to you with the same kind of problem, over and over. Every time, you used to rush in and help. Now, you listen, you nod, and you ask them what their plan is. You stop being the solution. You make them face their own mess. Stop and notice the shift. Suddenly, you're not useful to them in the way you used to be. You're not the safety net anymore. You're not the free therapist, the free bank, the free fixer. Machiavelli believed that people value what they must work for and ignore what they get for free. When you stop solving their problems, you stop being a free resource they can drain. Here's why this makes them leave. Toxic people stay close to people who make their life easier. The moment you stop carrying their burdens, you become less useful. The relationship costs them more than it gives. And toxic people don't stay where they have to do their own work. They go find another rescuer. You didn't abandon them. You just stopped doing their job for them. That's the sixth trick. Stop the rescue and you stop being their supply. But the seventh trick flips everything around. Because instead of changing how you act toward them, you change something they care about even more. Trick 7. Let them feel the silence after they push. Every toxic person has a habit. After they hurt you, they wait. They wait to see what you do. They expect you to come back. They expect you to call. They expect you to smooth things over, to apologize, to make peace, even when they were the ones who caused the problem. This is one of their favorite traps. They cause the pain, then they sit back and let you do all the work of fixing it. So, the seventh trick is to let them sit in the silence after they push you. They say something hurtful, and wait for your reaction. You go quiet. They cross a line and expect you to chase them. You don't. They create a problem and wait for you to come running with a solution. You stay exactly where you are. You don't chase. You don't fix. You don't fill the silence. You just let it sit there. And silence, after a toxic person pushes, is the most uncomfortable thing in the world for them. Picture a toxic person who just tried to start something with you. Normally, you'd react within minutes. You'd call, you'd text, you'd try to fix the mood. This time, you do nothing. An hour passes, then a day. The silence grows, and inside their head, the discomfort grows with it. Stop and look at what's happening to them. They're now the one waiting. They're now the one wondering. They're now the one feeling the weight of the silence they created. The pressure they tried to put on you has bounced right back onto them. Machiavelli understood that the person who waits calmly holds more power than the person who rushes to react. When you refuse to break the silence, the toxic person has to sit in the mess they made, and most of them can't handle it. Here's why this makes them leave. Toxic people rely on you to always come back. That's what keeps the cycle alive. They hurt you, you return. They hurt you again. But when you stop returning, the cycle breaks. The silence stretches longer and longer until the connection simply fades. They realize you're not going to chase anymore, and without the chase, the game is no fun for them. You didn't slam the door. You just stopped walking back through it. That's the seventh trick. Hold the silence, and the cycle dies on its own. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I don't chase what hurts me. But the eighth trick is about something most people get completely wrong, and fixing it changes everything. Trick 8. Never explain why you're pulling away. When people start to distance themselves from a toxic person, they make one huge mistake. They explain. They feel the need to announce it. They sit the toxic person down and say, I need space, or you've been hurting me, or I think we need distance. And the moment they do that, they hand the toxic person a weapon. Here's why explaining is a mistake. When you tell a toxic person you're pulling away, you give them a target. Now they know what to attack. They can argue with your reasons. They can twist your words. They can play the victim. They can promise to change. They can guilt you. They can make you doubt yourself. You just turned a quiet exit into a loud battle. So the eighth trick is to never explain why you're pulling away. You just pull away. No speech, no announcement, no final conversation. You simply become less available, less reactive, less involved, week after week, without ever giving a reason. Picture 2 different exits. In the first, you tell the toxic person exactly why you're leaving, and they spend the next month fighting you, guilting you, and pulling you back in. In the second, you say nothing. You just slowly fade. There's nothing for them to argue with, nothing for them to attack, nothing to grab onto. Stop and see the difference. Without an explanation, the toxic person has no enemy to fight. They can't argue against a reason you never gave. They're left confused, swinging at empty air. Machiavelli believed that you should never reveal your moves before you make them, because a known plan is an easy plan to stop. When you keep your exit silent, you keep it safe. Here's why this makes them leave. A toxic person can't fight what they can't see. When there's no explanation, there's no drama to feed on, no fight to win, no victim role to play. The connection just quietly thins out until there's almost nothing left. They might feel something is wrong, but they can't name it, so they can't fight it. Eventually, they give up and move on. You didn't declare war. You just disappeared without a sound. That's the eighth trick. Skip the explanation, and you skip the war. But the ninth trick is the most important of all. because it's the one that makes sure the toxic person never comes back. Trick 9. Build a life they can't fit into anymore. This is the final trick, and it ties all the others together. Because the other 8 tricks make a toxic person drift away, but this one makes sure they never find their way back. Here's the idea. A toxic person fit into a certain version of your life, the version where you reacted to everything, the version where you had free time to give them, the version where you rescued them, chased them, and let them control your emotions. That was the space they lived in. So the 9th trick is to build a life where that space no longer exists. You fill your time with better things, new goals, new skills, better people. You become busier with things that actually matter to you. You raise your standards for who gets your energy. You grow into a new version of yourself. And the new version simply doesn't have room for toxic people. Picture your life as a house. The toxic person used to have a room in it. The room was built out of your reactions, your free time, your emotional openness, your rescuing. The first 8 tricks slowly emptied that room. This 9th trick tears the room down completely and builds something new in its place. Stop and look at the toxic person now. They come back, expecting to find their old room, but it's gone. There's no space for them, no reactions to feed on, no free time to take, no drama to enjoy. The whole environment they used to live in has disappeared. Machiavelli understood that the strongest position is the one where your enemy simply has no place to stand. When you build a life with no room for toxic people, they can't return, even if they try. There's nothing left for them. Here's why this makes them leave for good. Toxic people don't stay where they have no power and no purpose. When your new life offers them nothing, they don't just leave, they stay gone. They look at who you've become and realize they don't fit anymore. And the best part is, you didn't reject them. You just grew into someone they could no longer reach. You outgrew them. That's the 9th and final trick. Build a bigger life, and the toxic people fall away naturally because there's simply no space left for them. Now notice what every single one of these tricks has in common. You never started a fight. You never blocked anyone in anger. You never gave a dramatic speech. You never explained yourself. You just quietly stopped giving toxic people the things they needed to stay. The reaction, the emotional access, the drama, the time, the predictability, the rescue, the chase, and the space in your life. Take those things away, slowly and quietly, and toxic people remove themselves every time. This is the part most people get wrong. They think the only way to deal with a toxic person is a big, loud confrontation. But the loud exit creates enemies. The quiet exit creates peace. When you fight a toxic person, you stay tied to them. When you simply stop feeding them, you set yourself free. Machiavelli understood that the greatest victories are the ones nobody notices. You don't need to win an argument with a toxic person. You don't need closure. You don't need them to admit they were wrong. You just need them gone. And the quietest way out is always the cleanest. Remember this. A toxic person can only stay in your life if you keep the door open and the food on the table. Close the kitchen quietly, and they'll find somewhere else to eat. You don't have to be cruel. You don't have to be loud. You just have to stop being their supply. The person who cannot be drained cannot be controlled, and the person who cannot be controlled is finally free. Remember, we don't fight loud battles here. We win quiet ones. Stay calm, protect your peace, and let them leave thinking it was their idea.